Knows AI. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. I had to deal with a question this morning in terms of transcript or recording to upload into, in this case, it was a Google Gem. But I wanted to kind of delve into the answer a little bit because I'm like, it's got the information. When I actually look at transcripts before, and we've done this before, it misses like names and kind of stuff like that. Or if you're using like technical terms, it doesn't get those. It'll put a word in there that doesn't matter. And then you're like, crap, the audio file is great, but it may be a problem, right, with hallucinations and all that stuff. So do you use a transcript or do you use the voice recording, right? So a lot of us go into meetings and we're now recording on our devices, or there's a Zoom. We get a nice little transcript off of that with a summary. So what to do, right? So just a little bit of a breakdown. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. And that answer may change if you think and fast forward in the future. So I'm going to give you a couple considerations here, and then I'm going to give you a suggested workflow to kind of work from, if that's okay. So transcript, there's advantages and disadvantages. So with the transcript anyway, these are text-based models, right? So they're LLMs, right? Large language models, right? Language being the key word here. It's a lot easier for a large language model to go through the stuff, parse that information, kind of archive it, commit it to memory. It's less likely to be hallucinating unless there's actual words in there that, again, it's you didn't check and make sure they're spelled correctly or whatever it is. You've got, the concepts are usually generally very explicit, right? It's dramatically faster and hence more indexable. I mean, think Google, right? FAQs, all that stuff. It just loves that information. So that's something really that you want to strongly consider. It's also it's easier to embed in the retrieval systems, right? There's nothing preventing you guys from even cleaning those transcripts up, right? With Zoom, you can get the transcript. We use Fathom as well. You can get that transcript and just kind of do a find and replace on words that are spelled incorrectly. If it's using them consistently incorrectly, then you can fix that. You can even organize it with like headings and bullet points, sections, FAQs, objections, position, workflow. So you can edit that text document, that transcript a lot easier. And that's going to be good. It's going to reduce hallucinations. It's going to be easier to find. It's certainly, at this point anyway, better for the LLM, whether it's just a general prompt that you're using in your Chat GPT or Google Gemini or Claude. But especially if you're building like gems in Google, right, where you're actually customizing a bot of some kind, or a custom GPT, or even a Claude project, right? So I'm strongly considering, if you want the data to be accurate, then use the transcript, right? But are there situations where audio might be good? One, it's a lot easier. Like, it's easy just to take the recording. And I don't know if you guys use It's voice something or other. What is it? It's called voice memos, right? Voice memos in your Apple device. I'm sure you have recording devices in your, on your phone, on your watch, on your phone. But either way, you may want to actually use that recording device. It's easy just to grab that and upload it right into the context. You don't have to screw around with getting a transcript or anything of that nature. By the way, that voice memos, it has recently added, I don't know how recent it's been, but it has added that voice, like you can get the transcript literally right from that. So that's kind of cool. But again, you got to worry about editing and stuff like that with words that don't, like they're not accurate or whatever it is. So audio files, when will we actually be using that? When it matters, right? So when we're talking about speaking style, right? Passion, there's sometimes emotions associated with meetings, right? Or how passionate an issue is to somebody. It really, transcripts won't give you that kind of that emotional connection, the conviction, the pacing, all of that stuff, just the rhythm. So if you're trying to duplicate like let's say a C-level executive or whatever it is, let's say you're priming it or training it to do like either a voice, or if you're training it to like using like a HeyGen or whatever it is, where you are actually going ahead and trying to mimic or create the voice of a salesperson or even have a chat bot that's trying to mirror like a sales rep, one of your top sales reps or whatever it is. If you're using that material to train a bot, I would say it's definitely worth having the audio file where you actually upload it in M4. What is it? M4 whatever document, what M4A or an MP3 or whatever it is, or even the straight video. It probably makes sense to do that, right? If that matters. So things like interviews, podcasts, testimonials, patient stories, sermons, coaching, counseling, where empathy and cadence and word selection really matters. Um, I think you may want to consider uploading that in the MP, as an auditory document. And again, it's a lot easier too that way, right? But then maybe can even help like mitigate some of that. So if you are going to go down that audio file, let's say you're in a meeting and you've recorded it using the voice, again, whatever it is, voice in real time here for you. Voice memos, right? Or on your watch. Let's see you walk out of that meeting. You got that pause going on. You can just pause it, right? You're done with the meeting. You're shake hands. You're gone. Maybe just unpause it and you add your comments into it, right? So just say, okay, so this is my summary kind of at the meeting. Chris was really very passionate about these kind of things. I think we were moving this direction, whatever it was. So add that right on into the voice memo at the tail end of it. Don't end the meeting at the end of the meeting. Just put the pause, and then in the car, whatever it is, go ahead and give your distillation on some of the sentiment, right, of who and what and how and all that stuff. So that might be one way of doing it. If you had a Zoom meeting, for example, or whatever the case may be, and you don't control the meeting or whatever it is, but you're going to get that transcript. Maybe you want to record your own version, right, on your own, and just add that voice memo in addition to the regular auditory file and have it go through the stuff. So there's a couple things there to kind of help accelerate some of this stuff because it is great context. I'll just be honest with you. I've recorded many, especially like pre-sale meetings, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions before an actual job or, opportunity to do work kind of comes about. It's going to do a hell of a job remembering that stuff way better than you. So I'd strongly say record it either way. Obviously get the, prospect or individual's permission to do that and tell them why that's important, right? So we're always trying to be AI forward, but we're trying to be as transparent as possible how we're using this information. So definitely some considerations there. Now, that's the state of the state today. What about in the future, right? So before I move on to that, so maybe you need to consider actually using both, right? So before you even get into the future proofing, let me go ahead and touch base. So let's say you've got a transcript, right? So you've got that, you've edited it and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with using that and referencing that and using your prompt to tell you, yeah, there's a transcript here. It's in a text document. This is what was said and everything like that. It correlates directly with the recording as your M4, whatever, M3, whatever it is that is there, and then MP3 or whatever. Just reference that auditory file, right? But what you can do with that transcript or what you do with the video is run it through like Descript or some of those to be able to go ahead and do those edits, remove the ums and things like that, maybe categorize it in different ways, give it some additional context that might be helpful. And you can just put that right on the end of the transcript, right? My summary notes or whatever it is. And again, you can even dictate those. Let's say you're typing it out or it's typed out, but you can just dictate that in your phone or using your desktop application or recording device or whatever it is. So there's nothing preventing you from doing both, I guess, is where I'm trying to go with that. So future proofing, though. So think about the future of this, because there is a big movement, right, into multimodal, right, where, all of you got Gemini, you've got Chat GPT, you've got Claude that's available in voice, right, on your phone, but even in your car, you've got I don't know how many of you use CarPlay or whatever it is, but you notice that you have now icons in there for Chat GPT as well as Grok. if any of you use Grok, you're brave enough to do that. So it's thinking in the future, right? That stuff is going to matter, and that context is going to matter. So, keeping the original audio file is going to be helpful, right? Stronger behavior patterns, persuasion styles, vocal insight, excuse me, sentiment analysis. I had a large lunch this afternoon, and I've been drinking club soda with lime. So anyway, so stronger behavior patterns, persuasion styles, vocal insight, sentiment analysis. We talked about that. Temperature of the room, who's happy, who's sad, who are the decision makers, right? Knowing those kind of things matter. Speaking confidence markers. And it's better than current systems. So it's going to continue to advance. So there's some things that I wanted you to consider. It seems like the best practice here is just consider kind of the output that you're going to be, desiring for whatever gem or whatever it is. You may want to do both. That's actually kind of the context. If you're lazy, you may just want to do the audio file. But again, you might be introducing hallucinations in there again, especially if you're talking about technical product and things like that. You're definitely going to want to make sure that if you're writing that Google Gem or that custom GPT, you're going to want to make sure that you understand in those transcripts that you see, or understand that voice as you're doing the prompts and you're getting responses. If indeed there is something wrong, like something's interjected, you have to read that stuff. Again, ultimately, that output is still your responsibility as a user. So you're going to have to look at it anyway. But if you notice something, go in and make an adjustment, do the transcript, correct the bot, put in that note in there saying when this sound occurs or whatever it is, it really means this, which is what this actually is. So you can use that, right? Respond and kind of tune, right, that gem or that custom GPT properly. So think about how it's going to be used. Think about there's value in that sentiment, all that other, gooky stuff in terms of emotions and things like that. If it is, you may want to do the audio file too. If not, the transcript's definitely going to win on that stuff. But there are tools to help, kind of make that faster in terms of transcripts. And again, whether it's Fathom, Zoom, they've all got those things, exporting it out, making edits. So a lot to think about. But again, was it Dale Carnegie? Didn't Dale Carnegie begin with the end in mind, right? But know too well that this is likely going to change and everything's going to go to audio. So we're just barking our commands in. Just like anything, the more it understands, the better. So I don't know if that answers your question, really, but it does engage you to think about how you're using it today and where it's going in the future. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me. If I've forgotten anything, if you think I need to take it a step further, you think I need to scratch this whole thing and just say, I'm not sure what to do. If you need help in AI, figuring all that stuff out, feel free to comment. Good things, bad things, share. Love to hear from you either way. Take care.